suggestion.
Jean Patrick Grumberg. Behind us is the CBS television center where the Bill Maher show is being taped right now. This Bill Maher late night on HBO, it's a culture-setting, popular entertainment show. We have entertainment shows late night on all the network channels that are all bashing conservatism, republicanism.
Of course. And at the same time, they encourage people to resist to it. They encourage people to wake up, to understand that they are not the bad guys, the others are. Because, nobody likes to be bullied, and they are bullying people all the time. In the name of fighting hatred, they hate more, and people feel it. They just don't have the voice, the media to express it, but believe me, they feel it.
I mean, the public does.
Yeah, the public does. And the public doesn't have a voice to express his opinion. So people don't know about it. And they have the audience, they have the media, they have the big voice to make believe that they are bigger than they really are.
Well, but aren't they setting the public sentiment rather than just their own?
Well, if they were, they would not be able to. They would not be able to help the situation with Trump, for instance. They couldn't prevent Trump from being elected. In Europe, they couldn't prevent the conservative and the populists to be elected. They couldn't prevent Brexit. So they're losing on every front. And it looks like they're going to lose again, So a friend of mine who's a Democrat, and I learn a lot from Democrats, told me that Trump is destroying everything they built. And I said, yes, you're right.
In a good way.
I didn't say that. I said, yes, you're right. The way I see it, like a bonsai. You see how bonsai works? Bonsai is wonderful. You cut tiny pieces, you sculpture, you work on it for 30 years, and then it shaped itself. So the liberal shaped a new society for 40 years, tiny pieces by tiny pieces. With time, they gave themselves, they were proud of their work. And then Trump arrived and he said, this bonsai is ugly. Let's cut it. It destroyed the fake new culture that they want to create for a better man. Like the communists, like Mao Zedong, the communist revolution, wanted to create a new man. They want to create a new man, a new society that is totally counter human nature. And people resist to that. They don't know it because they don't listen. They cannot listen because the other side, the big side, what's in between California and New York and New Jersey, the whole population doesn't like it. The independent don't like it. The normal Democrat like our parents 30, 40 years ago don't like it. They just don't know it.
Is this similar in Western Europe, in France, for example, where you come from?
No, it's much worse. It's much worse for several reasons. First, in Europe, in France, you don't have Fox News. You don't have the media, the conservative media.
At all?
None.
Radio?
Zero.
Why?
That's a good question.
By government edict?
No, it's it's a crony capitalism. The government controls too much, and they give big contracts to big companies they befriend with. So the big companies they befriend with own the media, and they have to be quiet on it and never contradict the media, the government. Even anticipating what government think, what government want, and doing exactly what they want. So it's much worse. And it doesn't look to me that the population is has a strong reaction because they get lost over time. You know, here people have roots. People that believe in their Judeo-Christian roots. Over there in Europe, they lost it. They don't know their roots anymore. So they're in limbo. They're in between things. They don't know what happened to them much.
Is it possible that what occurred in Europe, the bias that you see in the news, for instance, it's anti-American in general, anti-Israel, and very philo Islam? They're not criticizing Islamic imperialism. Do you see that migrating here like fashions from France?
Well, I see it migrating, but not from France, not as a fashion from France. I see it migrating inside the Democratic Party. I see it migrating within the left, what we call Islamo-leftists. It's happening here in university. And who are the people who study in university? The elite of tomorrow, the people who are going to lead the country tomorrow. So some of them are going to go back to being normal. You know, there is a saying, if you're not communist at the age of 20, it's because you don't have a heart. If you're communist at the age of 40, it's because you don't have a head or a brain. So some of the youth that you see in university today being far left, some of them are going to come back to their senses, of course, but not all of them. And I basically see United States with the, you know, with the pendulum? Yeah, pendulum. It's going far there and going back and forth. So I'm not pessimistic, but it's a danger. It's there. But still, 80% of the population is anti-Palestinian here. That's a lot.
In America?
Yeah. When in Europe, it's like between 15 and 30% are pro-Israelis.
That's small.
Yeah, that's small. Yeah. Because there is... which continent is the most anti-Semitic in the world? Europe.
You mean outside the Middle East?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And which continent is the most pro-Jews? Here, America. 70% of the American people like Israel. They like Jews now, not in Europe. So it's a different situation. It's getting momentum here. It's growing, but maybe I'm too optimistic, but I don't worry much.
You relocated from Europe to Israel. You mentioned anti-Semitic attitudes there, but that's also growing in the Democratic Party here.
Yeah, I relocated from France, and I live between Los Angeles and Tel Aviv. And I share my time between the two. And by the way, I find it funny because you find me everywhere I am. Last time you found me in Tel Aviv when I was in Tel Aviv. Now you find me in Los Angeles when I'm in Los Angeles. I don't know how you do it, but congratulations.
Well, it's because you come here, you find an oasis, I guess. And of course, Israel is an oasis, and for the time being, the United States is an oasis. Do you connect on your flights to and fro? Do you stop in France and visit?
Never.
Why not?
It's boring. It's a lost country. It's not worth it. When you land, it didn't happen to me for at least 6 or 7 years. When you land in Paris airport, it's like a third world airport. When you land to Zurich, which is much smaller, it's wonderful. You go to Heathrow. London is not a bigger city than Paris.
Heathrow, you mean? London Heathrow?
London Heathrow. Yeah. It's amazing. 80 million tourists goes visit France every year, and their airport is a junkyard. It's horrible. It's closed at 9 p.m.
But are you angry at what the politicians have let happen to the culture?
No, I'm not angry at all, because I believe in free will. What happened to France is what the French people wanted. They have the free will, they have the vote, they have their brain, their decision, their thinking. This is what they wanted. I respect that. They gave up on themselves. I respect that. They gave up on their culture. They decided to accept like 5 or 7 or 10 or 15 million Muslim from migrants from Arabic and African country. We don't know exact number. Well, I respect that. They decided to kill their culture. I respect that. It's amazing that they did that.
But it's your culture too. Well, surely you must resent that.
No, it's not really my culture because my parents are from, on one side from Romania, and from the other side are from Russia and Poland. So I was born in France, but it's never been my culture much. When I was like 15 years old and I looked around me for the first time, I saw something that was not matching my culture. It was different. I didn't find any common ground much. Besides the language and the culture I learned, I didn't see the thinking, the same way of thinking. So unfortunately, it's not my culture. But I want to tell you an anecdote about that, and I shouldn't tell you. This is the most politically incorrect thing. This is the taboo. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when the Israelis saw the French Jews coming in drove, coming in number for vacation, they had a high opinion about them. They thought the French were cultural, the French were Voltaire. They thought the French were coming on vacation with a pile of books under their arm, you know. And what do they see? They see mainly French North African Jews.
From Tunisia, Algeria?
Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, coming to vacation. And what do? They don't have the books with them. They have the bath suit. They go to the beach. They sit on the beach. They lay on the beach for 6 hours under the sun. Whereas in Israel, people are teaching their children don't go under the sun because it's not healthy. It's not good for the skin. You can catch cancer, skin cancer. People hide from the beach, hide from the sun. And what do they see? They see North African Jews coming and going straight to the beaches. That was such a huge disappointment.
To the Israelis?
To the Israelis, who had high opinion of the French people, of the French Jews. So now they are relenting them for the way they live their tourist life. So have nothing in common with that culture.
Because they're Sephardim. I mean Sephardic Jews.
They are French Jews.
Of North African Arab cultures.
Yeah.
They come from Arab countries.
They come from Arab countries with their culture, which I respect.
Yeah.
And the Israelis don't like it. I have nothing against it. I'm not saying I don't like it. Actually, I like it. I like the North African Jews' behavior, cultural. It's colorful. It's high level. I love it. It's not mine at all.
So about immigration, you're saying that this immigration changed Europe. The North African, the Muslim countries, Turkish, Moroccan, has changed Europe.
And it changed California, and it changed the United States.
You mean the Hispanic immigration?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they change it. They bring their culture with them. You know, when I made Aliyah to Israel, I had the meeting. We all have to have a meeting with the Jewish agency. And why did the guy told us? He said, "You are going to change the culture of Israel. You are bringing with you your culture, which is going to enrich, to change the culture of Israel,
To improve it.
to change it." I don't remember if he said improve or not. This is a value level. I'm not talking about value. I said changing. So if a few thousand of Jews change the culture of Israel, what about millions of migrants from Hispanic country here and millions of migrants from Muslim countries there? Of course it changes a lot. And the more the leftist media denies it, the more it shows that it changed.
We also have Muslim immigrants here, many from Somalia and Syria. And
You do. But so far, it seems to me that you're lucky here, we're lucky here, that there is a difference. You have a certain number, I don't know how many. I didn't look for a study, but there are studies. Quite a large number of Muslims come to America and embrace the American dream, embrace democracy, wants to live their American life. They love it. You don't have that in Europe. In Europe, they hate it. They hate the country they come to. So it's a different concept.
well, but aren't they? Many of them are living on social welfare benefits.
Yeah, well, you know what? People don't respect the government, the administration, the organization they get money from. When you receive money from someone, it doesn't bring respect. You know, respect is when you treat people you're equal to you. When you give money to someone, you don't treat them like equal. You don't tell them, work, you're equal to me, you can make it, you can make a living. No, they say, you are inferior to me. You're not good. You're not able to make a living. So we are going to give you money. We're going to help you because we believe you are inferior to us. This is horrible. This is racism. Nobody says that, but this is what it is. And respect would be to say, we are equal, we can make it. And it's not what happened. You know, there are different levels of racism. There is the racism you talk about and the racism you don't talk about. That's the situation, basically, in my opinion.
What do you see now with EU siding with Iran to avoid and evade sanctions from the Trump administration on Iran? That they'll keep this Islamist regime in power, and they have an alliance with the left, Islamists and the left in both Europe and North America.
Well, you know the song, money, 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 money. They want to sell. European country, European companies, they want to sell their product to Iran. That's it. Basically, that's it. Now, on the political side, the Europeans, they always make the wrong choices. They're always on the wrong side of the history. So why wouldn't they continue? You know, they have communists as leaders of Europe. What can you expect from a communist? Juncker is a communist. Juncker is a communist. Was a communist, a Trotsky. This is the worst ideology on earth.
So you mentioned communism, socialism, and now this notion of socialism as an ideal is being held up by the Democrats in the United States. What do you think about this?
Well, never let reality being in the way of interfere with a good lie. Never. So this is where they are. But why do they are there? Because they were in the universities where the teachers are Marxists. Should I wait a second for the... This is censorship. What about my freedom of speech?
There's a hospital, big hospital nearby.
Oh, that was a hospital? Okay, I thought it was. I didn't turn my head. I thought it was...
Ambulance, yeah.
Okay, so university 30, 40 years ago. The teachers, they were Marxists. They are Marxists. What did they teach the elite of today? Socialism. They didn't teach them the good thing of capitalism. They taught them the bad thing of capitalism. There are bad things everywhere. They didn't talk about the good thing. They didn't balance their education. So what do they want? What do you want from them? They have the seed is bad. That's here.
Does this concern you that the Democrats are embracing a leftist, socialist agenda?
No, I like it.
Why?
Look how they're going to lose the election. I like it. The more left they go, the more down they go.
But it also changes society as what's acceptable and ideal in society. That socialism used to be anathema, and now suddenly...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They are pushing an agenda that is so far left to soften the skin of the normal people, to make them compromise and accept non-acceptable things that are... It's better accept something halfway than the word. So they are working on that. And you're right, it's culturally it's working. But for how long? You know, I have the feeling that the 21st century will not be the century of socialism. I think the 21st century will see the strong decline in socialism because it goes too far and people reject it. Like, can you think of so many politically correct, stupid things they have? People are tired of that. You know, calling racist everyone doesn't work anymore. People don't buy it anymore.
No, but the idea of giving away money, that they're saying giving away college loans, forgiving repayment of the loans, reparations to blacks for the Civil War.
Majority of people are against that. If you read the poll, that's an indication of what people think. People are against that. They don't like it. You know, they say we want free Medicare. But when they say, are you willing to pay for that? Are you willing to give up on your own insurance? No, I don't. So, no, this is a question they don't often ask. So that's how it goes. Yes, I'm for big, beautiful, humanistic ideas, but if I have to pay for that and give up on things I believe are right for that, no. Am I going to pay for other people when I cannot pay for my own children? Doesn't work.
But the Europeans have had this tax. People in the United States are not considering what the social programs cost in terms of tax on the middle class for the United States. Do you suppose that the European experience will come here?
No, it won't. It won't. I believe that the American people have better common sense. I told you earlier, they have strong Judeo-Christian roots. They believe in capitalism. They know that the capitalism can go too far and can do bad things, but they still believe in capitalism. They still believe that the best comes out of capitalism. Who fought the hunger in the world? Capitalism, not socialism. People know that.
Yeah. But the public, they're looking at free health care. Public health care like Europe, and thinking, well, if we go for that, that's great. It saves us lots of money, and everyone's included. You have that in France.
Yeah, you have that in France. But in France, people are poor. In France, people make the average salary in France is less than $2,000 a month. In France, people pay like 70% of their salary goes to the state.
What percent?
70. Yeah. When as a businessman, I used to be a businessman in France. When I give you a check for $1,500, $1,500, it costs me another $2,000. So the total is $3,500. Which is why instead of giving it to you and you can get a cheaper insurance anywhere you want, no, you are forced to take the state insurance, one-payer insurance, that decide for you, that just decided that a whole homeopathic medication is outside of the reach. Now you have to pay for it. They just change their rule because they get poorer and poorer and poorer, and they take more money on people. But the media won't tell you. But I believe the American people have common sense and they know it. Even if they don't know the detail, they feel that you cannot give it for free. It have to come from someone's pocket, and they know it's going to come out of their pocket.
Do they? Or are they thinking, well, it just comes from the government and the government prints money?
You believe that? You believe that people think that? I don't believe it. It's because the media don't give a voice to the majority, to the hundreds of millions who don't believe it, that people think they accept it. They do not. I don't believe they do it. And you know what? One person in America has proven that he understands the American mentality better than anyone else.
Which person?
President Trump. And what did he do? He lowered tax. Result is people have more money in the pocket. Employment is very low. Economy is very low. And people know it, which is why the left don't fight on this, on the economy, on the situation of the country. They tried to fight on the Russian hoax. It didn't work. They tried to force him to show his tax. It didn't work. They tried to work on misogyny and him raping women. It didn't work. Now they are on racism, and it won't work either. They try to picture him, to show him as a racist. It doesn't work. They're desperate.
Why does the European media, and I say Reuters, which is headquartered in Western Europe, Associated Press, much of the business day of what we see here is shaped there. Why are they so against this administration?
Because it represents America. It represents a proud America. And they hate America. There is an anti-Americanism over there, everywhere. So when America is weak, with a weak president who lead from, I don't like the expression lead from behind, because Obama was not leading from behind. He was not leading at all. He was behind. So when America is not ahead of the pack, when America decided to let the UN make decision, they like it. America is weak. We accept a weak America. It's not threatening. But when America is proud, when America is strong, when America leads the world as it should do, they hate it again. This is why they hate the Trump administration. It's winning. They hate Trump, who told them, hey, you have to pay your fair share of NATO. We are defending you, and you don't even pay to defend your own children. They don't like to hear that.
Because they're spending so much of that money, of the savings, on social welfare.
Exactly. On social welfare and on stupid things. They give money to Africa, they give money to Palestinians. For what? For nothing. For terrorism, for corruption. To Iran. For nothing. No good reason. They're always on the wrong side of the history. You know, I was reading this afternoon about Cinco de Mayo. I forgot that Cinco de Mayo is celebrated here as the day of Mexico. It's not.
It's not the Independence Day, is it?
It's not. It's the day the Mexican won a war against the French in 1862. From 1860, the French kept losing war. And the French at that time were the strongest army in the world. The French was the star of the nation.
Of the world.
Of the world.
Yeah.
And now they're down the drain. And Germany is going down the drain. And many countries in Europe. And Britain is coming back. But I think they made a huge mistake. They accepted too many Muslims from
Syria?
Sorry?
Turkey? Morocco?
No, from
Pakistan?
Pakistan and everything. Yeah. So they made a huge mistake, and it seems that it changed the society now. Not a very good thing, but they have a good prime minister now. Loves Israel. If someone loves Israel, it means he's a good person, and it means he's a good politician. It's like a litmus test. If you're anti-Israel, you cannot be good. something is weird in your mind. Something is wicked with you.
Wicked.
Wicked, yeah. You cannot be pro-Palestinian and have a straight mind and straight thought. It's not possible. It doesn't work together. It's simple.
You're saying that the Jewish state is the litmus test?
Yeah. Absolutely, no question. Because it's a democracy, it creates, it helps Palestinians, it's a beautiful country, people are happy. If you are anti all this, something is wrong with you. And if you're a politician, it's even worse, because politicians should know better. So they have no excuse, none.
Why is President Trump still so popular in the state of Israel?
Well, the Israelis have a good common sense. The media are on the left, like everywhere else.
The Israeli media, you mean?
Yeah. They are on the left, like everywhere else. And the Israeli people voted on the right for the last more than 20 years. Which means the media fight and work and try to brainwash people like they do here and in Europe, and they fail because the Israeli people have a very, very strong common sense, strong value, and also very, very deep roots. Roots is everything. Here, people have roots. In Israel, they have even deeper roots in their Judean and Jewish tradition, values. And that is against the left, because the left values are against Jewish values in every sense.
Against?
Of course. They are opposite. They contradict Jewish values.
Globalism?
Globalism, changing human nature, giving up on capitalism, giving up on free will, giving up on free enterprise, having a government decide for you, giving up on your free will in the name of a bigger government. This is the opposite of the Jewish nature. Jewish is a creator, is a builder, entrepreneur. And the left is against that. What the basic concept of left is what? Is a big government make decisions for you. You give up on your free will, you give up on your freedom, on a part of your freedom in the name, in the hand of the government. That's the left concept versus what you call right or conservative. It's we leave to the people what belongs to them. That's basically the difference. And this is where the Jewish tradition is.
Are you concerned about this coming election in 2020, November? Are you concerned about the fate of the world?
Yeah, I'm concerned because I have many Democrat friends and they're going to feel very sad. And I love them. I love my friend and they're going to be very sad. I'm not good at predicting election, but I listen to my friend and they almost always speak like it's lost. This cycle is lost for them. The 24 or 25 candidates, one is worse than the other. They do all the mistakes. All the boxes, the wrong boxes. It's a difficult situation for Trump because you always when the opponent is sliding, you're always supposed to let it slide further. Never prevent him from going deep down. But on the other hand, you have to show the world, you have to show the people, the American people, that you have to point out where they fail. So it's a narrow line between letting them slide and showing where they slide. But they are sliding, definitely sliding down, going down the drain.
Cultural leaders like the mainstream networks from morning until late night are trying to intimidate people into not breaking from the Democrat drumbeat, not breaking from the party line, and especially people who are concerned about the future. Should they be intimidated and shamed into being socially acceptable when this election comes around?
I don't understand the question, should they be? They should be what they are. They should be what they feel. But I believe that their feeling is in the polls. They don't tell what they think to the pollers. They feel we like Trump, we're not going to say it. Last time, Hillary Clinton, a few days before the election, they said she has 80% chances of being elected. Why? Because people admit they were intimidated to talk, not to cast their vote, because you cast their vote with a curtain around you, you know. So I believe it's not black and white or white. Some are intimidated, some are feeling stronger because of intimidation. That's a reaction, human nature. People don't like to be pushed. So some are retracting, of course, are scared, and some shut their mouths and say, you're going to see, it's going to be payback on election day. People don't like to be pushed, don't like to be bullied. So you believe that the CBS and the late shows and the Camel and the Maher and the Jimmy Kimmel and the Camel and the Schmackel, you think that they scare people? I'm not that sure. We don't know exactly.
Well, experienced people such as yourself, but how about young people who don't know any different and want to be in the vogue with the fashion?
Well, I don't know exactly about young people. There might be more vulnerable, more malleable to this type of ideas, especially since, as I said before, when you're 20, if you're not communist, you're a moron. You have no brain, you're stupid, you have no heart.
Idealistic.
Yeah, idealistic, which is normal.
But by 40?
By 40, if you're still there, it's because you have no brain.
Because you don't understand
Because you didn't.
human nature.
Because you did not criticize what you learned. If you cannot criticize, if you cannot analyze what you learn, then something is missing in you.
Because the failures in communism are in human nature and dictatorship.
Well, you want to look at Venezuela, you want to look at Cuba, you want to look at China, North Korea, Europe. Europe is going down. You know, they take Northern Europe as example. They don't tell people. They don't remind people that Prime Minister of Denmark came to the States, and he publicly said, "I want to correct before the last election. I want to correct a mistake. We are not a socialist country. We're not. We're a capitalistic country with social rule, with a grain of social welfare, of social rule, in a capitalistic country with capitalistic strength that allow us to do it." He reminded it to people.
That capitalism is the only way to go.
Well, this is the only way to go, because socialism is going after other people's money. But at a certain point, you run out of other people's money. That's a problem.
Thank you so much for speaking with us today, sharing your ideas from Tel Aviv, Los Angeles, and flying over Orly and Charles de Gaulle. Will you be going home through Zurich?
I would go through London, Heathrow, all the time, always. I'm sorry, I avoid I avoid what Paris has become. And my friend in Paris told me, don't come. You're going to be frustrated.